Hey crafters, this is Nye here. So today we are going to be assembling a Thanks and Blessings Thanksgiving card. As you can see, I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. Today you're going to want to make sure that you have a pair of tweezers handy, and you're also going to want to have a bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, you can go ahead and use a ruler if you would like. You really just want to make sure that you have something that's going to help you to get your score lines sharp and crisp. All right, so I'm going to put these here off to the side for a moment. And so you can see that I've got all of the pieces. They're cut out and I have them stacked up in the order that I want for gluing. I've got my two white pieces here underneath. These are going to be for my envelope. So I'm going to take these and just put them off to the side because I'm going to come back to that at the very end after we're kind of done assembling our card together. And I have the pieces of my card here. So I've got all of my layers for the face of my card stacked up here. And I went ahead and I picked this blue background pattern for mine. When you saw mine here together, let me see if I can move it back really quick. When you saw mine here together like this, it kind of looks like a picture. And I wanted it to have that appearance of a picture frame. And so I chose a background that wasn't so much fall or Thanksgiving themed because I wanted it to stand out and I didn't want it to take away from my turkey here and the design of my turkey. But you could totally go ahead and choose a more fall theme, and you could choose your border here, like this outline shape, to go with your the color of your cardstock, okay, of your pattern cardstock that you're actually using for the base of the card. You do kind of want to make sure that these two though are coordinating together. So because mine is blue, like shades of blue here, and I went with a darker blue to just kind of pick up the little bit of the dark blue that's here in my pattern, I wouldn't want to go and choose like a red because there's nothing there to kind of coordinate it together. You do kind of want to make sure that these two are coordinating together. And as you can see, like there's nothing else that's blue in my design, so it's not going to kind of clash or interfere there. All right, so let's get started with our gluing. So again, I'm going to take my base and I'm going to put this off to the side too because I'm going to do that towards the end. And I've got all of my pieces here stacked. I'm going to try and make sure that I get them together again. Now, before I go ahead and I flip things over and really start gluing, there's a couple of the smaller pieces to this design that we need to do first. And the reason why we're going to do these first is so they don't get lost on our table because they are really indeed small. So I'm going to start here with the insert here to my letters for the word and. When you were pulling this layer off of your mat, you wanted to make sure that you got these extra pieces. I'm going to put these here so I don't lose them as I'm going. So I've got these two that go with this part here with the word and then I've got this part of the A, the triangle of the A. And that's going to be all of that for this one. All right, I just kind of want to make sure that I'm keeping some of this alignment here. Okay, so I'm just going to pick this up and all I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue. And so today, again, this is one of those days where you're going to want to make sure that your glue has this needle point here to really help you to just get everything in that right position. So I'm actually holding down this part and I'm lining it up and then placing it down. Okay, so that one's going down through my black outline layer here and through all of it to glue it right to that green layer. So I'm going to do this next piece, which is going to go with the D. I think I need to switch my hands here and just be a little bit more useful here with my left. I'm going to go back and forth. And then I'm going to press this one down right here. Right on top there. Okay. And let's do this next one. Okay. So this is like the hardest part, these smaller pieces here at the beginning. And then we're going to do the face of our turkey. And again, that's going to be another hard one. And so we're just doing these first because they require us to slow down and just pay a little bit more attention with what we're doing. All right, so I'm gonna grab his face here and I'm just gonna pull this off. And then I'm gonna work with it off to the side, only because, again, it's gonna be easier. So before I started the video, I went ahead and I glued down one of the eyes here. I didn't do the other one. We're gonna do that one together here. And when you're doing the eyes, I'm not even gonna touch it because they're so small. When you're doing the eyes though, if you're like, I don't really wanna work with these tiny pieces, this is a great time that what you could do is you could just get some like pens or some markers, like I have these two here. You could just get these and you could just draw the eyes on yourself. It doesn't have to be anything special and it's really not difficult because it's just circles. So you would just, let me see if I have a scrap here that I could show you. Hang on. Okay, so here's a piece that I was gonna use. I don't know what it's for, but I had it. If you wanted to, all you needed to do is just kind of draw a circle, and then you're gonna want a black as well. I should have gotten myself a little bit more prepared, but you're gonna want a black as well to just kind of do the insert. Again, it's just another oval, and then just kind of color it in. And so it's really easy to draw some eyes here and just kind of create that. I'm just going to do this part first so that way you guys can see. And all this is the black Sharpie that I'm using. And then you would just kind of go back and just color it in with your blue pen or your whatever color you decided to make the eyes. And then you would just do the same thing for the other side. Again, I'm just making ovals to do this and then just coloring it in. And so you've got eyes. If you wanted a little bit of the like the white highlight into the eye, just add another little circle right in there before you start coloring it in, because once you start coloring it in, then you're stuck, okay? So that's just a little quick example. Now I went ahead and I glued this one down, and did I lose the black? Nope, there it is underneath. Phew, that would have been funny. Okay, so you can see the black has a little tiny dot, and so does the blue. I'm gonna flip this one over to this side here, and I'm gonna get everything lined up. I'm gonna hold this one here, and then I'm just gonna add one tiny dot to the back of this, not a lot. And then all I'm gonna do is line it up and press it down. So this was probably the hardest cut. This was the easiest to lose on our mats when we pulled it off. And so it's also the hardest to glue. So to glue them down, I'm just gonna add a dab there of my glue, and then I'm gonna use my push pin here. I'm gonna pick these two up and then just press it down. And so it's really easy. These eyes look like, this other one looks like it might not have cut as beautifully as I thought. And then all I'm gonna do with the beak here is just kind of layer these right on top of the other. And so these are a little bit easier to work with because they're slightly larger. But I'm just gonna add the glue to the back. Again, just a little bit will go a long way here. I'm gonna hold this one down and then just line things up right there. And so it's just gonna get really close there to the eyes. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, just adding a little bit of glue. I'm doing it directly here, but I'm leaving this gap here for the nostrils because I know that the nostrils here have these two little holes, and I'm gonna use my push pin again to just pick this up and place it down right on top. Same thing now, I'm just gonna add a little dab of glue right there for the gobbler. Push pin, and then just placing it down right on top. And I've got a little bit of glue seeping here, but that's okay. And so that's it really for the face, okay? The hardest part, the two hardest parts, the inserts to the letters and then the face. All right, I'm gonna pick this up, add a little bit of glue here now to the back. And And then I'm going to place it down. So now when you go to glue the face down, you can see there's just a little bit hanging there for where the gobbler is going to sit. I might hold it so that way I get it right in that position there. And then just press it down and you're good to go. Okay. And so now the pumpkin is the other piece that needs to be glued. And so this is easy as well because it's much larger and it doesn't have a lot of the small pieces there. And so just gluing it down one right on top of the other. This one I'm going to hold in my fingers here, just adding a little bit of glue. I'm not going crazy with it because it's small enough and everything here is just super thin. And then just using my fingers to press it down. And so this one was really funny because when I was designing it, I first was designing with the intention to make it a sign. And then as I was going, I was like, this would just be really cute as a card. And so I decided to change it and make it into a card here. All right. Okay. And so that's really the hardest part to this card here is just getting those inserts to the letters, the face, and then the pumpkin. And now all we're ready to do is just really begin layering all of the stacks and the sheets of cardstock one right on top of the other. So I'm flipping it over in my hand. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to speed up the video here because all I'm going to do is glue each of these layers one right on top of the other. And then when we're ready to glue it to the base of the card and then to do the envelope, I'll slow things back down. Okay, so I'm doing this black layer here, and this black layer is really just the outline for the letters to kind of highlight them and to make them pop, and so that they don't just blend in with the background here. And I also realized that when I picked up this layer, I lost one of the inserts to the B for blessings, and so I can see it underneath my hand. Next to my blue outline layer or my blue border layer. And so I'm going to do that one here at the end. So for this outline layer, you really just kind of want to take your time and get as much as you can of the outline. You don't have to get everything, but you do just want to get some of it here. So that way it kind of all sticks and you don't have to worry about any of it snagging or lifting up. So I've got some glue there on my hands because I missed some of it there. And now for this one, when I go to press it down, as you saw, I was lifting it up. I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to be very careful. And I'm going to try and make sure that I've got it lined up before I press everything down all along the edges here. Before I press it down, just so that it's all in the right spot. So my T is up a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do, so you can see that part of the B definitely got snagged. So that was an insert part. I'm really getting the glue there. That was another insert part that got missed. So I have it here. Thank goodness I didn't lose it. That would have been funny having to recut just that one tiny little piece. And then all I'm gonna do is just, I've got it this way. Let's just press it down right there and then just move it into the right spot. And so if you're using the art glitter glue too, like I am, you know that it's my favorite because it dries clear. And I'm always managing to get glue along the outsides of where I'm gluing. And so because it dries clear, I don't really have anything to worry about. Like I'm not going to see glue marks. All right, so I've got this part of my border, which is my final border piece. And I'm just pressing this down and there it goes. So it kind of like like I said before, I was just kind of going for the whole frame look. I thought that that would be really cute for us. And, you know, when we are gifting a card, we always want to make sure that the recipient can, well, hopefully that they do, that they will display it as part of whatever holiday or reason that we're sending it to them. And so I just thought it would look really neat as a framed picture. Okay, so now I've got my base here, and you can see my score line maybe because my cardstock here is pretty thick, but you can see my score line that's going right across. And what I like to do, you can see it more on this side. What I like to do when I go to fold my card is I like to fold it first and line up this spot, line up the edges here to make sure that they line up first before I press it down. Only because even though I have my score line, I always manage to somehow miss it. And so I'm going to leave these here like this. And then I'm going to come back and just double check it before I press it down there. I just like to make sure that mine meet first. Somehow mine will always, no matter with my score lines, they always end up like that. And so, and then I'm just going to go through and really press it down with my bone folder. You can hear it. It's hitting my table just to kind of make sure that it's all lining up there. And so you can see it, like it's perfect. This one turned out perfectly. So there's nothing like hanging off. It's meeting perfectly. Okay, so now the next part that we're going to do is we're going to line up our layered pieces now right on top. And all I'm going to do is just, again, I'm adding the glue here to the back and kind of really getting it everywhere because I want to make sure that this lays down and that there's no possibility for it to come up at all. And then I'm going to line it up right on top. I should have opened it probably, but that looks good. And then just press it down. And so the great thing too about the cards, like I said, I like to have mine displayed, is it sits perfectly and, you know, the recipient can display it. And so I didn't add another fun saying to this one on the inside. I kind of left that for you guys to decide what you wanted to write. If you wanted to make your own. I really think I should have drawn my eyes in there, but it's okay. You guys just get to hear my thoughts as I'm putting it together. All right, so now we're ready for the envelope. I've got this part of the envelope, which is going to be the back, and then I've got this part here that has all of my flaps, and again, my score lines. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold along all of my score lines here. And I'm coming in, I'm folding. These are easy because they're much bigger. But I'm folding and then I'm using my bone folder to make sure that they get nice and crisp. And I'm going to do this top one too, which is going to be the big flap at the end. I'm going to do it this way so that way it doesn't sit up there. All right. So I did it twice just to make sure that it was nice and sharp and crisp. I think I have like glue residue everywhere on my table. All right. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this part and just line it up right here so that way it meets. And so you can see it just like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my glue kind of all along here. And you do kind of want to be generous with this one here because we want to make sure that it doesn't come up at all because we don't want our envelope to fall apart when we're mailing it for sure. And I'm going to do it here on the other side as well. So I'm adding a lot of glue here. What you could also do is use double-sided tape if you would like. And so now that I'm doing this part, I'm just going to press it down, making sure that it's right along the edge. And there we go. And then just pressing it down to really make sure that it's secure and that glue is really bonding to the paper, both sides of the paper. Okay. And so this will create our envelope. Lots of glue residue on my table. You can see it here. It's so funny. Okay. And then you're ready to just put your card in. And there we go. It's a little snug, but there we go. All right. And then you can address it. You could decorate the outside if you like drawing a picture front and back or something. And then you can stamp it and send it in the mail. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.